welcome to the Zadzooks Happy Hour, a podcast providing commentary on the latest in film, TV, games, and comics. My name is Todd Stoll, and I'm joined by 25-year veteran reporter covering pop culture, video games, and technology for the Washington Times, Joseph Zadkowski. I'm glad you're having a good time. How was your Father's Day?
I don't remember now. It sounds like deja vu.
Was it not good?
No, it was good. Oh, wife cooked some giant steaks.
On your pizza machine?
No, we didn't use the pizza machine.
Well,
because I have way too many pizza choices in my neighborhood.
You sure do. So do I, so for that matter.
That's right.
You want to dig right in here?
Sure. I've already seen this movie. It's called Alien. So I don't have anything to say other than...
So we're talking about Life. The movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal, air quotes, Ryan Reynolds, and Rebecca Ferguson. It's a pretty small cast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a team of researchers on the International Space Station.
Which is not the International Space Station.
It's not?
It's nowhere near it, unless they've pumped a ton of money into it.
Okay.
My issue being a somewhat space buff,
right,
is that you can't have the International Space Station on the outside look like it does today, but then on the inside
have it look
nothing like
better?
It does today. Have it seem like it's substantially larger. So
I wouldn't have caught that.
Well, I mean, again, who
would
cares?
Not have caught that.
Again, who cares? So I guess that's my thing. Now, what do you think about a movie where the entire cast is in socks the entire time?
Once again, never observed that. I was too busy watching them die.
That's like the cush job of being an actor. You're
right.
on wires the entire time.
Yeah, but you're wired and you got to move around.
Yeah, you definitely get thrown into things quite a bit.
Yeah.
So the premise of this movie is that there is a probe bringing back a sample of Martian soil.
Right.
And it's being delivered to the International Space Station to determine if there is life aboard. Or I guess there must be some assumption that there is, because otherwise they wouldn't bring it to the International Space Station.
Good question.
Right. I mean, it wasn't really clear. But
this is one of those movies, again, with enough stupid moments that made me not like it.
So, for having a title role on the cover of all the artwork, Ryan Reynolds is a gem in what little bit of this movie he's in.
Probably 30 minutes tops.
Yeah, he's in a quarter of the movie.
Right.
Do you want to ruin it?
I don't have to ruin it. There may be 2 or 3 people who want to see this movie.
I want to ruin it.
All right.
Ryan Reynolds dies early on in the movie.
Right.
Horrifically.
The thing is, he's a bright spot in the movie because he's the wisecracking mission expert, specialist, engineer type guy.
And it's unfortunate because I think the movie, after his presence is no longer felt, becomes this. I don't know how to
hide and seek.
No,
slog.
It's more of a. Everyone is just sort of listless, and it's all hopeless.
Oh, what's going to happen next?
Whereas,
where to go?
There wasn't this moment of any sort of heroics. Whereas Ryan Reynolds' character was sort of saying, we need to help this person. They essentially identify life, they start screwing with it, and things go horribly wrong.
Right.
And it turns into
an organism.
A giant starfish / octopus-looking beast that is faster than a speeding bullet, apparently,
right,
and is able to squeeze into the tiniest of places.
Which is reasonable. Squids can do things like that.
It's reasonable.
What's not reasonable is when you build, if you're a group of researchers knowing there's a potential problem, you don't allow that kind of access to the organism, nor do you allow now do you break any type of contamination rules, which they did
multiple times
quickly, which caused their problem to begin with.
Now, there's a few flaws in this movie that I think really frustrated me the most, and I liked this movie, actually. I thought it was pretty original. I mean, it's a little alien-esque, ish. But the whole purpose is that the only way to kill this thing is to remove the oxygen from the area so that it essentially suffocates.
Right. Or hibernates.
Or it hibernates. However, the thing is on the outside of the space station attached to somebody's suit for what seems like 10 minutes and it has no problems. But yet, if they put it into the space station and they kill off all the oxygen, it's going to immediately turn dormant.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a logic issue there on how that doesn't quite add up. At the end, it turns into a giant Michael Bay movie.
Yes.
With, explosions and things.
Now, it looks great.
That's what
There's no chance.
You know what?
You will not find a prettier space film.
No, and you know what? I really... the fact that you didn't see wires, the fact that you didn't see people crashing into things and sort of immediately dropping, like it seemed like everything that they were hitting, they were truly floating.
The spacewalks looked amazing.
They looked great. Everything looked very good. It was just, at times it was a very kind of bleakish movie.
The end of the movie stinks.
Yeah,
more.
I saw that coming from a mile away.
Yeah, right?
From a mile away.
I saw it so much so that I went, they wouldn't do that. They couldn't.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah, but...
isn't that the whole point of this thing was to be...
But that's a simpleton horror movie. Even that doesn't happen in Alien. They were smart enough in Alien to keep it away.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole thing of... Regardless, everyone on board was contaminated in one way, shape, or form.
Right.
So why you would attempt to try to bring somebody back to Earth to tell what happened because there's no downlink to the planet, I can think of better ways. Leave a note on the space station.
Right.
Video log.
Which they have in the extras.
And they use it.
There's video logs.
Okay, let's talk about the extras.
Right.
They were awful.
There's nothing.
There was nothing. And they were horrible. And the video extra that I saw where Ryan Reynolds is sort of talking about, like, I actually kind of got into that. And I was like, man, you know what? He needed to be in this movie more.
Right.
And for the fact that when they were on press junkets, he and Jake Gyllenhaal are like BFFs now.
Really?
Makes me think, like, how's that possible? They weren't
really in the film enough together.
I mean, Gyllenhaal is essentially... He's the star of the movie.
He's the movie, right.
Right. He and Rebecca Ferguson, but he more so than anybody.
Right.
Because everybody gets picked off one at a time. But, I mean, if you're looking for a space-ridden alien/horror film that's not going to really make you jump out of your seat but is entertaining and you're just kind of into that thing, I think this is all right to watch.
I'm not entertained. I wasn't even entertained.
I think you and I saw this coming a mile away.
Right.
And the disappointment with Reynolds' character, Rory Adams, being dropped so early on just killed it for me. But, it's a B- for me. I love space movies.
Right.
And I think they got the physics right. I think they got the science right. I think there is no way that they would ever do anything that's stupid in a contaminated situation.
Right.
So, and there's no way that they would have built that space station to allow for an organism to get out regardless of it being in a contaminated area. So it's very flawed in that regard.
Right.
But it's a beautiful movie. I mean, it's well shot.
I'll give you that.
And I give it a B. It's not my favorite, but...
C, senor.
It's no chips or masterminds,
no, it's
right?
no, right.
Okay, when we should take a break.
God, we should.
When we come back, we should talk about the Lego Batman movie.
Hey, that's a good idea.
And get our unique first time perspective on this DVD. So when we come back, we'll talk
Blu-ray,
about Blu-ray, DVD,
VHS, Beta,
Betamax, or Laserdisc.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
No, Batman. Thank you.
Yes, your sound bar almost looks like a bat.
Oh.
Isn't that cool?
Look at me. Wouldn't that be something if that was like some weird
Nelson
hidden thing
Riddle breath
that you and I stumbled upon,
that
the guy who did the original theme was
Nelson
meant
Riddle, who didn't have digital.
How weird would that be?
It kind of looked like it.
Okay, well, it's time to talk the Lego Batman movie, the somewhat sequel-ish prequel / standalone movie
to the Lego movie.
To the Lego
which
movie.
You've never seen.
Which I've seen little bits and pieces of.
Okay.
Starring Will Arnett as Batman / Bruce
And he's
Wayne.
loving it.
Oh, he's set for life, right?
Easy money, right?
I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah. How hard do you think it is to do that voice?
That's his voice.
More or less. I mean, it's like
you've ever heard
it's
him,
like an octave deeper.
Anytime he's in a movie where he's got a hangover or he gets up in the morning,
he sounds like Batman.
He sounds like Batman.
He's set for life.
Yep.
I think that anytime you can attach yourself to a successful franchise, an actor is stupid not to.
Right.
I mean, the Marvel stuff that's coming out with all these people showing up in Infinity Wars.
It's easy money. I'm sorry, it's easy money. Yeah, you got to get up at 4 a.m. and put a costume on, but it's...
I mean, think about that's your life.
Right.
Your life is to get up, get dressed up,
right,
and do like 3 pages of a script in one day.
Right.
That's it. That's your job. Oh, and maybe you need to have inflection in your voice.
We're in the wrong business.
We are, yeah, because podcasting is making us rich beyond our wildest dreams. Okay, so the Lego Batman movie. We've got Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Alfred, Joker, Harley Quinn, Scarecrow, the Riddler, Bane, Two-Face, Catwoman, Clayface, Poison Ivy, Voldemort.
Yes.
You've got Superman, Green Lantern.
All Jonah Hill is the Green Lantern.
You've got was Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman was in it.
I can't remember.
For like I don't know
for
if
like
she
a
said
split
anything.
second.
Right.
Yeah, for like a split second.
Billy D. Williams as
Two-Face.
Two-Face, who, and last time we saw him as Two-Face, he never became Two-Face. He was Harvey Dent in the Batman movie.
My kids love that Voldemort was in this movie.
Really?
Oh, they love
The
Harry.
special appearance by Voldemort.
By Eddie Izzard as Voldemort.
So how does Ralph...
yeah, Ray Fiennes, who plays
I'm
Alfred
sorry,
Penny. He's got to have it in his contract where he can't do it, right? That's a good point.
I couldn't believe that wasn't him.
No,
it should have been him.
Eddie Izzard.
Why?
Whatever. I mean, so for me, the standout, the standout role that really just was really glossed over was Conan O'Brien as the Riddler. I mean, that's Emmy,
there was
Oscar.
Nothing.
I mean, even Zach Galifianakis as the Joker. I was telling you
he was
beforehand that I thought it was Patton Oswalt's voice,
right?
Because whatever voice he decided to put on sounded a lot like him. You had Jenny Slate as Harley Quinn, Rosario Dawson as Batgirl and Barbara Gordon, and Michael Cera as Robin / Dick Grayson.
What's this about?
Batman's
a lonely kind of guy.
He's a lonely guy who has no friends and no family, and he likes to stare at a picture of his parents and him and
eat lobster thermidor.
Lobster thermidor, which is his favorite.
And wear
thing.
his cowl.
All day,
all
every day.
Yes.
But he does make an appearance as Bruce Wayne. He does eventually take the cowl off.
Alfred really pushes him. A
lot of nods to Adam West.
Yes.
Alfred, at one point, is dressed up in the original Batman costume.
That's right. There's a picture of Batman carrying a giant bomb above his head from the movie Batman. Can of shark repellent.
That movie is so good.
There is a moment where they're punching guys, and Batman describes it as the punching guys so hard that words describing their impact spontaneously will materialize in the air.
Pow!
Which is cool.
Blam!
That was neat.
Yes. My kids loved it. They love anything Lego anyway.
Of course, I saw this movie already because I played it in Lego Dimensions, and it was fantastic. It was more fun than the movie. And I liked the movie.
But how can you do no wrong, right? Because you are guaranteed a built-in audience of kids who love Legos. What kid doesn't like Legos?
Right.
Right? Then, everything that's in the movie can be made into a Lego
That's right.
and sold.
And it's Batman.
And you know what? I bet it's better than the standalone Batman with Ben Affleck.
I bet you it's going to be.
That's
There's no chance it won't be.
Yeah. What do you think? Justice League? Wouldn't it be great if Will Arnett comes in and all of a sudden Lego Batman is in a live action film? It's Will Arnett.
All right. I don't think they'll ever go there, but it's funny to think about.
We can only hope.
Can only hope.
So, what did you think of the, Mr. Extras?
Well, first of all, I like the 4K UHD version of the film because they essentially built the entire universe brick by brick, mostly, and they used a virtual Lego palette. They really, I mean, I found in the extras that there's like it's like a toy box. It's like a digital toy box with like 4,000 bricks in it.
It's crazy.
So they could go in there and build anything they want, and they look like real Lego bricks.
At some point, you have to imagine that they're going to be able to build some sort of an algorithm to be able to push a button and say, "This is the world I want you to create. Go build it."
Right.
And it's going to do it. I mean, they could start churning these things out a lot faster.
Right. This was a 2.5-year process.
And it was long, too. It was an hour, almost 2 hours.
Yeah, which is, I expected 90 minutes, but it went a long time.
Yeah, it was a pretty long movie.
Some saying too long, from what I heard.
I mean, the fight scenes were pretty good. A lot of destruction.
Yeah.
The premise is that all of the really, really, really bad guys are locked away
in Superman's Phantom Zone.
In his Superman's jail, essentially.
Right.
And they somehow manage to escape. And it's on from there.
Yes.
So.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to give away more.
But it's cool.
So the extras, there's a great commentary track where the director sits down and has like 20 people around him commenting, which is great. It's great to hear from the animators and their perspective and how they did this because they are the stars of the show. And then there's 3 shorts, which were good. One, Cooking with Alfred, which I thought was kind of funny. Harley Quinn's local talk show, which was also kind of funny. And that's the 2 big ones that I wanted to hit on. There's another 16-minute overview of the movie, but I really wanted a lot more. They did spend some time with the actors in the booth and just showing how fun it was.
Here's the thing. The one thing that I sort of found, if they were trying to do any sort of consistency with, say, Suicide Squad, you didn't have Harley Quinn in. I mean, obviously, you can't have Harley Quinn wearing what Harley Quinn wore in Suicide Squad.
In Lego, no one would notice.
No one would notice. But the Joker is very cartoonish.
Yes.
I don't think I saw Killer Croc or any of the other characters from Suicide Squad as the villains in this, which I think DC kind of maybe left that one out. Although they did announce a sequel already.
To what?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, Suicide, right.
Yes. So
it's not the 2 guys that were directing the Lego movie and the Han Solo movie. We'll talk about
that.
Okay.
So I give this an A. It's definitely a crowd pleaser for the kids. Probably not so much for the adults.
Baloney.
Not to watch multiple times.
If you're a Batman fan, I've watched this movie 3 times.
Of course you have.
Because there's something in it I miss every time. Yeah, I literally go to the internet and look for stuff what I should find.
Yeah.
Those extras that guys watch the movie 50 times are seeing.
To me, I think this movie's going to be a little bit like Airplane in that there's just so many things going on in that movie.
There. Yep.
That I have to admit I watched it the other night and I laughed hysterically at it.
Right.
Because it's still a funny movie. So this movie could very well do the same thing.
It's like Police Squad.
It is. You mean Naked Gun?
Naked Gun.
Or the Police Squad TV show before Naked Gun?
Both.
So good.
So.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about a new director taking the helm of the standalone Star Wars Han Solo movie.
Yes.
So we'll be back.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
So what do you think about Opie Griffith, or
I think
or Opie Taylor.
He is a trusted, beloved director.
Who would have thought?
And is proven time and time again he can deliver films. I mean, all right, he didn't do so well with the Da Vinci stuff, but
Da Vinci Code, the first one was really good. The Inferno and the other one that I can't even think of the name of now. But Apollo 13, Dynamite movie. Didn't he do He didn't do Castaway.
No, but he did. Didn't he do that? A couple of Russell Crowe.
He did In the Heart of the Sea with Thor, and that did not do well.
So good.
No, right. He's done enough to.
You're talking me out of my endorsement.
To be a safe bet.
He is a safe bet.
So yes, if you live under a rock, it was announced this week that the two co-directors who were helming the Star Wars standalone Han Solo movie have been relieved of their duties, and Lucasfilm / Disney recruited Ron Howard to essentially pick up where they left off, which I think it has about 6 weeks left of shooting. So the principal photography is more or less done, but I think it's 4 weeks of shooting. Actually, no, I take it back. It's 4 weeks of shooting and probably another 5 weeks of reshooting. And so he's got to go through everything, re-edit everything between now and I think July 7th, and they're going back into production again. And
if you read stories, they're telling everyone, well, he did Willow, so he's going to be good at this. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This guy also did Backdraft, which was pretty amazing. A Beautiful Mind, which was pretty amazing. Cinderella Man, which is super amazing. Yeah, I think he can handle this. It's not going to be any problem there.
I think I would love to know.
Night Shift.
I would love to know, like, what goes through your mind as a director when you're coming in and essentially taking over from somebody else. I would bet he was very respectful of the process and made sure he asked a lot of questions to make sure he didn't feel like he was somehow horning in or making it sound or seem like he was doing something. I wouldn't be surprised if he talked to the other guys.
Make sure they were okay. Well, he's got to. They shot most of the movie.
Yeah.
It was done.
Yeah, and it sounds like they just were trying to riff it a little too much, maybe for the liking of.
We weren't looking for a wacky Han Solo.
We're looking for a guy who's a thief and sort of
gritty,
a mean individual at his core, and I think maybe they were trying to get away with too many light laughs.
Right,
would be my guess.
Right.
I think it's a safe bet. I think it's a little strange to have somebody that established into the Star Wars franchise. I mean, J.J. Abrams obviously did Force Awakens, so he's fairly established. But he's also, I think, if you look at his body of work, he's a relatively newer director than
J.J.
If you think about the body of work, he's
what I think about as a Star Wars fan was. It was almost sacrilegious to bring him aboard after he did Star Trek.
Well, and how about that?
But yet, we found out that he was a very, very, very big fan of Star Wars the whole time.
I think it's interesting that he could be a fan of both.
Right.
Because that's not something you typically find.
I'm a fan of both.
Well, good.
I do I'm a big fan of Star Trek.
I know some people hated the last Star Trek, but I loved it. I thought it was fun.
Which one was that?
The one where the ship gets blown up and they're stuck on the plane.
Last movie.
Yeah, the last movie.
Right. I loved them.
Yeah, and they're signed on for like another 2 or 3 more, so we'll get enough out of it. So, and the box office this week, Wonder Woman
continues to save DC's universe.
It's got to make enough
cinematic universe.
It's got to make enough money to compensate for the flop that's going to be the
Justice League.
Justice League. I hope that movie's good.
Yeah. That would be
but I'm not feeling a lot of buzz for it. By the way, nice Star Wars shirt you're wearing today.
It's classic.
I know you like to point out my Ghostbusters shirt, so
I think it's the only thing I had clean. That's fine.
Well, it's okay. It's fine. So Cars 3 was number 1.
Which I'm never going to see.
Sure you will.
I'll see it at some point.
When the DVD
That's
comes
true.
out and we have to review it.
That's right. Then I'll see it.
Anything else coming out this week that we can be excited about?
I am deep into a show that I barely remember as a kid, but my wife watched religiously, and that is Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new box set from Time Life, and it's the entire show.
How many discs?
6 seasons. I like 38 discs.
Wow.
And really, God, you would talk about a cutting-edge show in the 60s. If you watch what these guys got away with, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'll do a little deeper dive next week, but really, strong cast and irreverent. Man, these guys, and they're still talking about topics that we're talking about today.
Of course.
Social Security cuts, taxes, drugs. I mean, it's all the same. Politicians, corrupt politicians. It's the same stuff.
Yeah, you know what show I watched a lot was the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
And if you go back and you watch some of the stuff that's in it, that's just as racy. And it's like, it's almost as if they didn't know what to do with it.
So have you ever seen a Laugh-In?
Probably several.
Right. I mean, it launched the career of Goldie Hawn, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And boy, you just watch what these guys are doing. I'll go into it a lot deeper next week, but they were just throwing darts against the wall and see what would stick, and they were getting away with murder.
I'm surprised they honestly haven't tried to remake that. With every other 60s show that was somewhat successul, they've
had a half-assed remake in like the 70s or so.
Oh, yeah.
80s,
I'm talking about
didn't
now.
work.
I mean, they've remade The Gong Show like 3 different times now.
And, you know, they kind of did remake Laugh-In. It's called Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels was actually a writer on the show
sure.
for a little while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and of course, Saturday Night Live had its biggest seasons to date this year. Wonder why. So what about releases? Anything coming out? I know you've got Chips, which I don't think we're going to review.
Well, I got it.
I might watch it. You should give it to me. I'll give it a thorough once over and tell you how bad it is. It won't be as bad as Masterminds. I'm pretty sure of that. But it might. It could give it a run for its money.
I don't think there's much anything coming out. So I guess we're just not going to talk about anything.
No, we've got Kong Skull Island coming out in a couple weeks.
Right.
And yeah, it's pretty dead so far. So next week we'll have Laugh-In and some other stuff that you can be excited about in the box office. And who knows, maybe there'll be another Han Solo director.
I feel like I'm walking in a desert right now.
Hey,
okay.
You need some water?
No.
I need
to take a nap.
Okay. Well, good. All right. Well, I am...
I'm still Todd Stowell.
I'm Bruce Wayne.
You're Bruce Wayne?
And I'm also Alfred Pennyworth this week.
Okay. Did you see him in the Kato outfit? You don't even remember, do you? I might be losing my mind.
No, he was in several outfits.
He was wearing a Kato outfit from the Green Hornet.
Yes, he was. But wasn't he wearing it when he was driving the limo?
Maybe, I think so.
He was he was his Kato. Yeah. I didn't even think anything of that.
They're so clever. All right, thank you.
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it.
Please follow us.
We're everywhere you don't want us to be.
That's right.
We're like a fungal infection you can't get rid of.
We're like Calvin from Life.
Is that his name? Yes, it was Calvin.
You're
right.
Nicknamed Calvin.
That was how forgettable it was.
Yeah.
But yet we remember Xenomorph.
That's right.